guys, so I just spent 2 days on making the stairs. I honestly thought that I could finish it within a day, but there were some things that I ran into that I have to spend more time on. So one of the things that I did was to buy the 2 wood pieces. I didn't buy it last time, so I have to buy them because this is balsa wood, not the pine wood or whatever. And the 10mm thickness balsa wood was really hard to cut. I mean, I don't know why I thought it would be okay to use just the cutter to cut it. The 1cm thickness is still like a significant amount of thickness, so it was really hard to cut. And I tried, scoring with the knife a few times, and then it took me ages to just cut one piece. So that didn't really work out. I even used this tool called the scribble tool that is actually used for scoring marks, especially on acrylics, so that when you score a few times, right, you can just kind of break them apart, but it didn't cut through the grains nicely. So that didn't work out too. I ended up using a saw instead. I totally forgot that I had a saw, and it was a little bit messy. I probably should have done it outside the house, but it wasn't as messy and not a lot of sawdust from it, so it was still not that bad. I also tried to measure on the wood itself, but I totally forgot that paper template is always the way to go, because if you have to cut like 2 ends of each side, you can flip the paper template around and trace the other side, which is what I forgot to do. Tracing the opposite ends is very important because like my cutting skill isn't that great, so sometimes it slants a bit here and there, but you will always make sure that the front facing up is always the right measurement, so that's always the way to go. One of the things I realized about cutting tiny things from very thick wood is that it's easier to saw the wood as close to the line as possible, but not on the line. So you leave a little bit of gap, and initially I actually tried sanding it down, but it took really long. But I realized that you can actually cut it with cutter as long as the amount that you're cutting off is not too big, so that you still can have better control. Cutting along the grains is easy, but I thought that it might not work with the grains, that it's not the same direction as the blade, but actually that was okay. I feel like maybe that's the pros about using balsa wood. Another thing that I found out was that when I was trying to piece the stairs together, I realized that it didn't align properly, and I had to trim around like 1mm to make sure that it fits properly. And I realized that it's because that the wood that I bought is measured by inches and not cm. The one that I got was as close to the thickness that she asked us to get, but it wasn't perfectly the right size. So I think that affected the sizing a little bit, so I just have to make some adjustment, because I really made sure that everything was the right size, but because of the thickness, I think it does affect a little bit. Anyway, I feel like for the stairs at least, cutting them smaller is better than bigger, because if it's smaller, you can just use filler to fill it up, which is what I have to do anyway. So I figured that, even if it doesn't fit perfectly and there's a little bit of gap, I can just use filler to fill it up, which I did, and it looked okay. And yeah, so this is the end product. One of the things that I was really curious about was how she made the stairs. Like, if you first see it, you would think that it's like one block of wood, but actually behind it's empty. So this was something that I thought was pretty interesting, and I learned a lot from. Also, even though the 10mm wood was really hard to saw through and cut through, I mean, it wasn't really difficult to saw through, but it was just a bit messy. I think that is a good choice, because if I hadn't used this thick wood, right, the structure would not be as stable as this. Like, this is super stable, and this is like done with balsa wood. So yeah, balsa wood actually isn't as bad as I thought. I mean, to me, it's like a very soft wood, right? And I always feel like it doesn't do very well as a structure, but I realized that it's just a matter of making sure that the base can sustain the whole thing. I only managed to finish cutting the wood and everything on day 11, and then the next day I just finished gluing them together, painting them with gesso and also fillers, and then lastly I had to weather them with like this patina that she taught us how to use, which was honestly very bad instructions, but I probably shouldn't like share it anyway, because if you want to know about it, you should get the book yourself. But I feel like the instruction was a little bit ambiguous, and I had to do a lot of guessing. I had no photos of how the patina should look like. Is it watery? Is it very thick? Like, I don't really understand. I mean, the instruction asked me to wipe off the patina, but because mine was so watery that it felt a bit weird, like wouldn't I wipe off the whole thing? But I realized that because my filler is actually water-based, the wiping off kind of make the patina stay on the filler, and this is the result. I also feel like my color was a little bit different than what I thought it would look like. I don't know whether is it the photo that she provided was very different in terms of color, but I felt like the color that I did was a little bit too orange compared to the photo. But I think it still looks okay. I actually did the stairs first because I'm waiting for some of the things to arrive that I bought online, which has actually been close to a month, but it hasn't reached me yet. Anyway, so I was waiting for that, so I actually hasn't completed the exterior, so I just started on things that I can work on first. But basically, by the end of the whole thing, I will also have to use the same patina to cover the whole exterior, so it will look a little bit closer to the stairs. But right now, it looks pretty out of place. I think it will work out. Anyway, if it doesn't, I will find some way to make it work out. So that's it for this video. It actually took me way longer than I expected to finish this, but you know, I'm done with the stairs! I hope this video has been interesting and helpful somehow. I really thought that it was pretty fun to do, and I really want to make more. Like I've just been so busy, and honestly, editing video is not easy. I spend one whole day just to edit one video, sometimes two, depending on how long the video is. So thank you guys for watching, and can you believe that I already spent more than $1,000 on this thing? And I haven't even managed to finish. I mean, I hope that I already bought all the materials that I really need, but it's just it's a lot of money, and being broke really doesn't help. But big thank you to my patrons for helping me to ensure that I have enough to get by day, so that I can, you know, do projects like this. And yeah, I really hope that my materials will get to me soon so that I can finally finish up the exterior. It's been way too long. And thank you for sticking around. I'll see you in the next video.